The last 6 years, I've been refining what it looks like to support teachers who are interested in amplifying student voice. So if you are a coach or a leader or an administrator, a department head, whatever it is, supporting teachers, helping to increase student voice and their pedagogy of student voice, to pull a phrase from Saphir and Dugan in their street data book. I think there's an upcoming book on that too, which is very exciting. But anyways, this is what you can do. I have pulled together a package of supports that you don't need me for. I mean, I do this, but you can do yourself. You can harness the power of your instructional coaches or do this yourself as a leader in whatever role you have to maybe pick and choose from this list. What are the supports that you can give teachers that'll really help them to develop really strong lessons that center student voice, but also implement effectively and have that feedback loop of like what's working, what's not working, and what do I do next? So let's take a look. Example professional development package. This would be a year of full support, and you can do, as I said, what you can from this list. First off, I would start with a PED workshop. This could be a half day. This could be two 2-hour workshops. This could be a full day, kind of like August, September, whenever your school year starts and you have those PD days. So I would start there and I would set specific goals for the year, both as a community and then have individual teachers set one that's specific to them, but still has the spirit of that overarching school community goal. I would then introduce the planning framework. So this is kind of inserting however it is you want them to plan. So for me, I have a specific way of designing. I have templates and everything. And so I'm like, here, start here, go there, then do this. If you have a particular process where you want people to plan with a certain lens or a certain format or a lesson plan template, whatever, start here. If you want to see a couple of, I want to see circle protocol or specific activities in the school day across content areas, across grades, that's where you would introduce this. Then what I would do is I would take a multi-stakeholder team and do a learning walk in the fall, a little bit after. So see, if we start this August, September, I would say October, November, give teachers a couple months to really implement. It could be sooner, but I would say somewhere around 1 to 2 months after. Give them some time to implement, get them going, and then just kind of see what's happening. So this would be ideally inclusive of teachers, leaders, and students. You would meet in the morning. So this would be usually a full day or like a 3/4 day thing. Meet in the morning, establish what are the things we want to observe or experience. What is the data we want to collect when we go in these classes, and visit, I would say 3 to 4 classes, about 15 minutes each. I know that some of the recommendation is, you should be able to see whatever you see in 10 minutes of a class or not. Yes, and I think a good lesson always has multiple parts. And so there are different types of engagement and students gravitate to different types of activities. So I do think you can stay longer or shorter depending on, a lot of things. You decide. I would say 15 is a good goal, but I'm not a person who's opposed to longer. Meet in the afternoon to identify trends and plan for next steps. So this would be not for the purpose of evaluating, right? A learning walk is not evaluating individual teachers, but it's getting the sense of how do we as a community do things? What are the trends across classrooms, content areas, grades, right? And then we don't just leave it there. We plan for support. So, okay, so what support might these teachers need? What do we as a community need to do differently to support? I also would try to develop, and this could be a quick, 5-minute YouTube videos or something. Like this doesn't have to be a full-fledged course, but I would create some sort of asynchronous thing that if a teacher is stuck and they need some sort of support, or I'm looking for an activity idea, or I want to remember how to do this thing, or we don't have enough PD time, so I need to tell you asynchronously, whatever it is, have an accessible kind of bank of resources. This could also be a shared Google Doc where teachers can go on their prep period and find some information and get some support in an asynchronous way. So for me, I have a course and it has things like purposeful protocols. What are the different purposes within a lesson that we would want student voice to happen? Here's what an engaging unit arc is. And so these are kind of foundational. And then it's like, here's a deep dive. What are text-based protocols, discussion protocols? Like what are all these things and what are the templates you could use? So that could be something that you create or that you find in a really low price or something. Then I would offer some asynchronous review of curriculum materials. I didn't used to like this, but then I realized with time and everything, sometimes teachers just need a walkthrough, like a Loom video that basically is like, here is my analysis of what I'm seeing as like, here's some praise, here's some great things happening here, here's some questions that I have, and here's some suggestions for improvement. Make sure you hit all of them, right? So you want to push the thinking, you want to help support, but you also want to say what's going really well. And I think after a couple of these, teachers are really good at just, grabbing the information and kind of coaching themselves afterwards. So I think a couple of these, doing a couple in fall, spring would be really great. You could do something like 2 submissions a month for teachers. You could also do this by department. So it's like, okay, you're going to submit your unit plan as a team. If you have kind of a similar kind of unit that you do, and we'll, submit like 5 materials a quarter or something, whatever that would look like in terms of your capacity. Now, additional things that you might want to, I think that's the core that we went through, but additional things you might want to do, you might want to do some like group coaching, just kind of support planning for teachers. You might want to do days where, you visit teachers to support the specific teachers. So you might meet with them on their prep time to plan something or to debrief a lesson. You would sit in on a student-led discussion or something. I also like this idea of like coaching via Slack or some sort of asynchronous coaching. This could be via email, similar to this idea of a curriculum material review, but this is more of like a quick question situation. So like I have a quick question about whatever. And then also as a leader, if you are responsible for helping instructional coaches or kind of like other leaders in the space, I think it would be really helpful to get on the same page in terms of how we coach and instructional leader supports. So you're kind of like coaching the coach here and thinking about what can we do as a coaching team, if we have a coaching team or like department heads, whatever the roles are that you might be able to support, how could we do this? And what are the structures and systems and maybe templates of coaching, for example, that we could set up to really make a difference for our teachers? That is it. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, send me an email. You can also check out more details of that course as an example to base your course off of, or if you want to get that course, I'm just going to link it in the description if you need it. And again, let me know if you have any questions or anything you want to like brainstorm around how you might support your teachers best.